Boxing King Media, powered by BYD, with the hardest promoter in the game to get hold of today. I can get Frank Warren.
That's what the missus says. That is what the missus says. Can't be that hard, no. Busy times, but everything well. Great to be back to back in Bolton, live on Channel 5 this Friday. Very excited. Return of Lyndon Arthur. Big night of boxing. I just saw the card on the way out. I think it's 10 or 11 fights. So Nissa's maxed out the budget as always. Like, you know, selling the missus to the shops with a credit card. You know when Nissa's in charge of a card, you're going to get a stacked card. So I don't know. Tom Welland on there. Matty Harris returning. A couple of new guys on as well. Fantastic. But you can't look past the Lyndon storyline Friday night. How much has he learnt off that Dimitri Bivol fight? Liam Cameron, very, very interesting opponent. Great pedigree, lots of inactivity. Came back on a Matchroom show recently, and now he's got this shot. So it's a tough night for Lyndon in terms of making that statement.
Well, what you just said there, I asked both of them, asked Liam and Lyndon about hunger. Lyndon says he's still hungry. He's hungry to be a world champion, so that's his drive. Liam, obviously, we don't need to go into his stories. He's said it a few times now. It's come from hell and back. So, could it come down to who's a hungrier fighter on Friday night?
I think you've hit the nail on the head. So you can look at both. Look at Liam, mad storyline, right? I can't not question his hunger. I think that's bang on. For me, the bigger question is where's Lyndon, right? He's just come off one of the biggest cards against arguably pound for pound king, Dimitri Bivol.
Usyk.
Yeah, for me, Inouye's up there as well. Usyk, you got like, loads of them, you know. But Bivol is definitely up there. You know, you couldn't have too much of an argument if it was Bivol. It depends on who's most recently fought, you know. If Bivol beats Beterbiev, I promise you, everyone will be saying it's Bivol's number one. So, but irrespective of that, the question is about Lyndon. What has he learnt from that fight? What was that week where he's around, you know, the creme de la creme of the sport? What has that done for him? And those answers we'll find out on Friday night. That will be the question of how much hunger is there. You know, he's had a big fight. Can he get up for this fight? It's a tough fight. Look at the reaction online. Everyone knows it's a live fight. It's a tough fight. Does Lyndon see it that way? Is Lyndon going to turn up? Is Lyndon going to come out the blocks from the first round? Is he going to do the normal turn up after the fourth, fifth round? Then it's going to be a tough night. You know, and Pat, you know, who's an institution of boxing, Mr. Pat Parrott. He knows boxing in and out. He will have soaked up that experience like a sponge. The question is, how much has Lyndon soaked it up? How much can he put into use what happened in that Bivol fight? And that part, tune into Channel 5 on Friday night, because I don't know. I really don't know. I believe in Lyndon. I believe we can make some great fights bounced on the back of this. Dan Aziz were pretty good negotiations around that fight. There's obviously the Boazzi Hutchinson situation, Yards Part 3. Lots of great fights, but we're not looking past Friday. You know, they're there to be made. But what will be to make him if he loses? So he's got to beat a man in Liam Cameron who has that hunger. I'm not questioning that part. That part, he's coming to win. Yeah. So, like when you ask that question, the hunger part is only on Lyndon's side for me. Liam Cameron's hungry. He's coming here to win. The question is, and so is Lyndon. But the question is, what's his status right now? And I think everyone's very excited to see that.
Any worries, because you saw Lerone Richards at the week, and obviously I know Steed from a while ago, and I know he's a very good fighter.
Incredible.
Most people haven't seen him before, but I've seen him in the gym, and the guy can bang. So obviously he got a knockout, beat your guy. We saw Dan Aziz get a draw at the weekend, you know. So we're kind of on it.
It's a banana skins, and I think they're a bit different. I think Dan Aziz just couldn't get going. I don't think he could get up for the fight. I think he was already looking at the next fight, whether that's Lyndon or whoever it is. I think for him this was just a run out. and it went wrong. It went badly wrong because he just didn't seem up for it whatsoever. But I don't look at Dan Aziz any different after that, because it'll be very different in a Lyndon Arthur fight. And then you look at Lerone Richards, who this time last week I was standing at the same media day saying, man, this guy's going to fight for a world title in the next 12 months. I don't think that's not going to happen. I don't know whether it'll be the next 12 months now. He's had huge inactivity, and he's such a skillful boxer. He will come back from it, but it shows what a tough game is. You take your eyes off that prize. Look at the way Steve takes that knockout. Phenomenal. Unbelievable. Set up, but it shows, like I said last week, if everything goes to plan, Lerone would have been mandatory within 2-3 fights' time. Mate, we're going to have to go back to the drawing board on that one. You know, it's not the end of the world, but it's a big setback, and it's one of those you just tough matchmaking from our guys, I got to say. But Lerone was up for it, and that happens.
It's a sport, isn't it? It's the sport of boxing. And talking of sport of boxing, I bet you're glad that you don't have to answer the questions about when's Conor Benn going to fight Chris Eubank Jr. What's the latest? What's the legal side? What's happening?
I'm just following it all on Twitter. Yeah, no. Hey, look, all good things come to an end, and we reached an amicable agreement. So not really much more to say than that. We had some great times, ups, downs, sideways, and everything. But we're wishing him all the best, and we crack on with what we're doing. We've added 1 or 2 names. We're going to add a couple more names to the stable this year. But really, we're in a good place in terms of, like, we've got 3-4 people in the top 5. Josh Kelly, obviously, we're about to announce something very big with him in the next 10 days. And there's a lot of guys and girls who are going to go for world honours in the next 12 months. So
what's happened with Josh? Like, he's been inactive, disappeared for a while. What's happened?
We're working on a very big fight, so those sometimes take a couple of weeks or months longer than it does, but he's in fantastic shape. I saw him on Monday this week. He looks phenomenal, and there's a big fight which is almost done.
Fascinating. And question I've got now, we can't really talk about EUBANK's fights, as in contracts, etc. But what you can tell me is how much of a chance do you give him or Hamza Shiraz in that fight? Who's the favourite going into that if it does happen?
It's a great fight. If that fight happens, it's a great fight.
Is it the right fight for Chris?
Chris has always been in the big fight business. It's a big fight. If that Wembley card, that sort of super card that we read about happens, it's a massive show. So to be on that show in a fight, there's a lot of hype around Shiraz at the moment. It's the sort of fights that Junior's always loved. So yeah, I mean, I don't know what their negotiations are like or whatever. Watching that all from the outside now, but the fight gets made. It's a hell of a fight, 50-50 fight.
And then I've got to ask you about KSI. What on earth is going on? Because all we're seeing is back and forward rumours. Like, is it actually true? Is he looking to fight a 2 versus 1? And if so, why? Why not just Slim?
You'll be there fight week. You ask him that. Don't ask me that. I don't know.
Everyone wants to see him versus Slim.
I'm his business partner. He's the governor. He's the one who decides what he's doing. Listen, in this scene, he fancies 2 guys in one night. That's what it is. But look, I'm just buzzing to be doing that show in Dublin. I think that's going to be a cracking week over there. I think the Irish fans are going to...
Don't sidetrack it. Well, when can we see an announcement about this, if it is true?
The announcement, you will see it. Next week we're going on sale. So obviously when we go on sale... No sidetracking there. Next week we're on sale.
And KSI is definitely on that card?
Yeah, KSI is definitely on the card. Yeah, of course. Yeah, he's the headline of that card. Might be fighting 10 people in one night. Don't know.
Rumble.
It's not that long ago. Let's not forget, this is our 2-year anniversary.
Yeah.
We had the O2 sold out. It was KSI versus Wasabi. I'd got off on holiday, all happy, bit of family, got cool. Wasabi's out. I'm like, oh no, right, okay, what are we going to do? And then they came up with the idea, 2 opponents in one night. I thought everyone's nuts, but it turned out it went down fantastically. Everyone had a great night. and that's the scene, you know. So if they tell me that they want to fight two people, who am I to say no? You know.
But when it's Slim, who's like who's going to be a favourite in that, I'd suspect,
It's-
on the recent form.
But they obviously have have something that they see. I think KSI bangs out Slim.
There's not going to be anything wild, like, I don't know, one arm's tied behind their back and maybe in the ring at the same time tied together or something wild.
Asking the wrong person there, yeah. No, there won't be any diet. Well, maybe. Let's see. You know what? Maybe you're going to come on board as our new concept manager at Misfits. That's what we're going to do. No, joking aside, absolutely no arms tied behind backs, but it's going to be a fun night in Dublin.
Right. Appreciate your time, Kalle, as always, and I'll look forward to Friday night. Thank you.
Look forward to it. Thank you very much.